we all have burning issues, but we're just going to quickly cycle through and actually sort of talk about what is the real bee in your bonnet.
I've got lots, but for this context, I guess the thing for me is that today we're talking about pharma, but the product is but that part for what the patient goes through. So what is high on your imperative is actually only part of what I'm interested in. And so telling me about a product is not going to float my boat. How does it fit into the bigger picture is what floats my boat.
For me, I'm very interested by evidence and making good decisions and what is necessary to make those good decisions. So that's meant on data collection, on study design, and on the practicality of having the good studies for local decision making.
I guess we've talked a lot about data, and that's one of the things we've got to talk about. But for me, that encompasses some of the stuff that we've been facing. How do we work with the pharmaceutical industry in a constructive way that gets around some of those rules? And in Dorset, what we've done is we've created a group. We've called it the Pink, which I really can't remember how we got there, but it used to be the DINK because it used to be Dorset, but it's the Pharmaceutical Industry NHS Collaborative. So we all get together once a month, and it's on we talk about the topics that are important to me in the CCG. What I used to get really fed up with is the pharmaceutical industry coming to me and telling me what my priorities should be. We've got a real problem. For those of you who don't know Dorset has got a huge ageing population. They're very well until they get to a certain point. Our big problem was COPD. So when I had somebody from the pharmaceutical industry coming to tell me that asthma was my big problem, I wasn't exactly listening to them. So I said, look, you may think that asthma is my problem, but I'm telling you that in the round, COPD is my problem in respiratory. I've got lots of other problems, but COPD. So out of that came, how can we work better together? So I worked with a particular individual from the pharmaceutical industry, and we came up with a forum, if you like, where all the pharmaceutical companies come meet with us on our priorities, and we do co-production. So some of the stuff we do, it's about the pharmaceutical industry saying, we can help you on this aspect of your project. And it's been really, really beneficial to us.
The other thing which is key, and it is something I have worked very, very much on with my local pharmaceutical teams, is about data mapping. So a lot of the data we have will be from America or be a global perspective. When I'm taking a new service that we're looking to have commissioned, actually they don't care about, the issue in Germany. They care about the issue in Teesside. With data mapping, and it's something that some of my teams have done very, very well, it's what does the local population look like? What can we do to support that? Which for me has meant shifting of services. So actually we don't need it there, but we need it there. And that's been based on collaborative working with the pharmaceutical industry.
Sandy, if I can jump in, because what you're saying there is data and actually the services pharma can provide are very valuable.
Yes.
The big question, if you like, for pharma, because they are commercial organisations, is if I do this, if I provide these services and resources, what's in it for me? Can you answer that rather crude question?
Absolutely. If I have, let's pick a fairly simple area, smoking cessation. If I have 20 clinics, all in areas where the prevalence is limited, your product is not going to be used as much as if I move that service to somewhere where it is. Commercial viability for you is me identifying the people who are going to use your product. So in effect, you've mapped for me my area of need. You could be first, second, third line on the formulary. I really don't care where you are. It's what's best for the patient. And actually, if we have suitable patient resources, we've mapped that information, I can move services. Very, very simply, your marketplace, your pie increases, potentially your slice of that pie increases.
I'm awash with data. What I really want is information that's going to make me take notice and do something about it. And my patients don't fit neatly into a box. You know, they have multiple comorbidities, so what works in that narrow field won't necessarily work for my population, and I just need to get real information that I can make decisions on where I should put my cash, for want of a better word.
From a pharmaceutical point of view, if you have really robust patient information on your websites, on your systems, where they can get real information that is going to inform and support their decision making together with their clinician, that will be really useful. If your site has a really robust patient information section with data that backs it up that a patient can take with them, that would support decision making significantly.
Sandy, you know, where do you think pharma is? Is it a fairly broad spectrum between the great and the awful, or is it, you know, is it fairly narrow? But it's, you know, if you like, so what's the spread, and where is it in terms of where you think it should be?
I think the pharmaceutical industry as a whole is moving forward significantly. I think we need to know more about how we can work together rather than how we can't. And the sharing of best practice from the national perspective, we could do through you as a conduit. To me, that would be perfect.
How do you envisage pharma adding value in the future? I mean, basically going beyond the pill itself. I mean, I think that's a very big question for everyone who's in the room. And I'd just like to understand your experience of how you would interpret that.
We've got one population, and we should all be working for the best of the population from our different lenses. So for me, my lens is I've got the responsibility, and it weighs quite heavy sometimes, on trying to get the best value for healthcare in my CCG. So my population's about 750,000. Not that I know everybody, but it just feels like it sometimes. And I think the pharma industry need to think like that too, that it's one population and you've got a role to help us deliver best healthcare.
Jane, if you could close, there was a wonderful little story you told at lunchtime about one of the sales interventions you had, and then we'll break for coffee.
Oh yes. We had a pink meeting set up, and one of the reps asked to see me beforehand, and he came to show me lots and lots and lots of graphs, and he said, "You'll appreciate why I couldn't share this in the meeting." And I said, "Not really." And he said, "Well, it's all very commercially sensitive." And I said, "And?" And he said, "Well," and I said, "Look, unless you're willing to share and work collaboratively and collectively, I can't do business with you, because actually you're on your agenda there, and actually that's not my agenda. But it's all about COPD," because he'd listened. "It's all about COPD." And I said, "Yes, it's all about COPD, but that, what you're talking about, is that much of this much that I need to do. So I need to talk collaboratively with all of you." And I've not seen him since.